Executives View, the sports podcast where the stakes are high and the debates are fierce. Please welcome your host, Aaron Sirius Simmons, alongside co-host Barry DeVille and Jordan. Each week, we bring you into the boardroom where the elite minds of sports converge. From the gridiron strategies to the business behind the ball, we tackle the hard-hitting questions and give you an insider's perspective. So pull up a chair and join us at the table where champions are made and legends are born. This is the Executives View. Let's get down to business.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Executives View. This is the view from on top, man. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with the executives, and I do appreciate that. You guys know how I get down, man. If you see the show, share the show. We're all over the place, man. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, TikTok. We're doing big things in big places, and definitely want to take everybody along for the journey. I don't do this by myself. I got a slew of brothers that are sitting here ready to chop it up, talk about everything around the water sports. The homie Villains in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Villain, what's going on, fellas? Good to see you. Let's get it going. Let's get it cracking, man.
Yeah, man. We got a lot to talk about, man, and not a lot of time to get into it, man. Larry's in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Yo, what's the deal, man? Look, hey, I'm gonna try to talk about it as much as I can today, but I'm a little bit in my feelings, man. Today, I'm heartbroken over here. I know, Steve got a list too.
Listen, I'm trying my best to not talk about the Astros, and you're leading me right to it.
Dude,
yeah. So
it's not even that. That's they just one of many on the list, bro.
Oh wow. There is more. There is definitely more to talk about. Well, with that being said, man, I wanted to kind of start something more light, and then we'll fill into something significantly bigger later, man. We have another fight to kind of preview. I know you guys are kind of laughing at it, looking at it, man, but it looks like Tank is getting in the ring to fight one of those Paul boys, man. Larry, you're our boxing aficionado. I'm not even sure if you want to call this actual boxing, man. Where's your head at, man?
Man, they might as well call this a novelty, bro. Like, I'm all for getting your money, man. Like, get your money. Like, hey, look, Jake Paul, his brother, y'all get y'all money. Like, I'm not gonna be a hater for that. But don't call this a boxing match. Don't sit up and say, "Oh, I'm really want to be the next heavyweight champion. I want to be the next champion of this, dude." Don't say that, bro. Just say, "Look, hey, I'm here to provide entertainment and I want to make money." You know what I'm saying? It's almost to be real with you, I told you, it's like WWE, man. Like, they might well just put that on a PLE, on a WWE card.
Hey, Billy, he's using the words and everything, man. We done crossed them over,
bro.
Man.
Yeah, bro.
Got him.
Hey, put it on a dude. Him and his brother, they could twin bill, man. Twin bill, PLE, bro, and call it a day. ESPN it. Do a joint show, because so in boxing. In boxing, unlike other sports, there's a reason why there's heavyweights. There's a reason why there's welterweights. Jake Paul is fighting. He been fighting at like 175. Dude, you put 30 pounds of weights in Tank's pockets and he probably wouldn't weigh 175. Like, Tank, like, I don't know about you guys, but like, have you guys ever seen like some of these boxers in real life?
I've seen a couple.
Like real life. Like if you saw Tank in person, he's like 5'3" and he weighs like 130 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Yeah. Soaking wet.
And
that is tiny. A really little guy. Yeah. It's like, and like I say, I'm using the wrestling analogy. It's like, you remember on Rocky 3 when Rocky fought Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
And he was all throwing him around the ring because he was all way bigger than him. He thought the dude was gonna be that big. Dude, it's like that. And it's like, one thing I will say about Jake Paul and this whole promotion, I've been reading some of the undercard, and the undercard is actually looking to be a pretty good build. That's one thing I will say about the Jake Paul promotions. Like, he put Amanda Serrano on the map, even bigger than what she is. She's, she had some, well, he put on the map, but she had to draw the map her and Katie Taylor, they put them amazing fights on. But yeah, he putting together a pretty good undercard. But I think it's like I said, I think it's just one of them things. They both trying to get paid. Somebody footed the money for it. Probably gonna be Netflix. Somebody footed the money for it just to see it as a novelty. It's probably gonna be some outrageous rules, and then it's gonna be like nobody's gonna be declared the winner.
I'm looking at the rules now.
It's
8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a lot of craziness. I'm not gonna get into all the specifics, but yeah, there's crazy rules: 3-minute rounds, 10-minute round exhibition.
Yeah, it's like when you saw him fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
It was like you see him, and like I said, it's interesting. It's really interesting because who would have ever thought you would have saw a Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight? Yeah, it was 30 years too late, but who would have thought you would have ever saw that, right?
Right.
So it's like I say, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, I just think it's novelty. People probably gonna buy it just to see it, but as a true patriot of the sport, I just think it's not something that I'm more interested in watching from a fan perspective.
I feel you. Before we move on, breaking news is in the bill. What's going on? Breaking news. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, boys? How you guys doing?
Doing good, sir. Was starting off a little light today, talking Jake Paul, Tank Davis, the exhibition, the cash grab, whatever you want to call it, heard around the world, man. What say you, sir?
Cash grab.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna lean more towards what Larry said. You know what? If you were watching Logan Paul Productions, right? If you were watching his fights, you should be more interested and more excited about the undercards. And I don't mean don't disrespect, but after the Tyson fight, it's really hard for me to get excited about him fighting anybody, right? Like it was rough. Like I think we could all agree it didn't look like what we had hoped that it would look like, you know. And so it's really hard to it's really hard to be uh I'm just gonna say unbiased. I have to see it to believe it. So I don't put a lot of stock into that.
I feel you. I feel you.
Now, I will say, I'm sorry, Barry.
Right.
Now, I will say this though. If you're looking for action on that fight card, Alicia Baumgartner, she's on that card. She is one of the best female boxers out there.
Mm-hmm.
So that should be a pretty good fight. And
that's why I said the undercard.
Yeah, and if you're a true fight fan and you know who Gary Russell is, you know who his brother Gary Antoine Russell is, and that dude is all action. That dude, if you like the Christian Mobility fight underneath the Canelo card, you'll love Gary Antoine. That dude is all brakes, no gas. So yeah, the undercard is gonna probably be the best thing of the fight. And I'm like breaking news. If you watch his card, he's probably gonna have some performer come out and perform too. So you're gonna get a little bit of a show. He's gonna sell the card. So I don't take it as true sport, but it's something to watch.
Yeah. Villain, talk to me, man. This fight is set to take place in October. Again, cash grab. Everybody's trying to get a payday. Nobody's really interested in the sport itself. Unlike his brother, who has taken to the WWE, and is probably gonna be a champion here in the next couple cycles here. Brother, not so much, man. What say you?
You're just trying to trigger me, right? That's what you're doing, trying to trigger me.
That's stuff we're talking about real quick. I mean, I'm just
no. Listen, I'll keep it really quick. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't take Jake Paul seriously as a fighter. It's not like he's trying to be a real legit champion. Like the match we just saw with Canelo in Crawford. I don't put him in the same stratosphere as those two guys. I don't take him seriously at all. So it's a money grab. It's not my money. I'm not paying for it. I'm not going to watch it. I really don't care. I hope Tank, gets his money, gets paid, because it seems like from what I heard, you're not allowed to beat Jake Paul when he puts a production on. That's what I heard. So I don't take him seriously. Like Mike Tyson wasn't allowed to win that match. And you could tell how he fought that match that he held back in some punches and didn't really go all in. I mean, Larry, I don't know if you saw like I saw, but I saw some points in that match where he could have laid him out or got a shot in, and he didn't do it. And it's probably because you're not allowed to do that against Jake Paul. So I'm not going to take him seriously. I don't even want to waste any more time on him on this show.
Say less. We'll keep.
Mike been. I'm gonna say this in my final closing. Mike been boxing for 40 years, so some of that old Mike got triggered a little bit. You could tell he kind of like, can't do that. He kind of triggered a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is the even sadder thing about it. Like I said, I'm not in WWE like you guys are, and know how these guys get picked and choose. But the saddest part about all of this is Jake Paul is actually ranked. He's a ranked fighter.
For
right
what?
Now, I think he's at like 14 or something like that. I can
Ranked
tell you
for
right
what?
now if he ranked for a belt, for championship belts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like this, I mean, that's a joke, Larry.
Yeah,
that's a joke to me.
That's what people after he fought the Tyson fight, they ranked him, and we was like, why would you rank somebody who one, he doesn't even have 10 actual professional fights, and two, he hasn't fought anyone noteworthy to even be ranked, but he's actually ranked. And I can tell you right now, if he fights anybody within the top 25 of actual fighters, they will destroy that guy. They will destroy him.
That's why he won't.
The thing is, like, there's all these stipulations, and you can't, I mean, again, I understand the bulk of, fighters, you got to have, certain stipulations, but like, to your point, he fought Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson, even at the age he was, could have seriously done some damage and unloaded on him, and he had to pull up because of the rules and the spectacle of it. So, I mean, these Pauls have found a way to make money. By making a mock, I don't say a mockery, but essentially making a mockery.
Mockery is the right word.
Yeah,
you're right.
That's the only way you can sum it up. The only way you can sum it up.
Yeah, go.
I'm gonna put it like this.
Listen, I'm just gonna say one thing. I was trying to keep it respectable, but you guys keeping it on the topic, so I gotta say this real quick.
Don't keep it respectable.
Listen. I was trying to keep it PC. There ain't one person that watched Mike Tyson in training leading up to that fight that was like, where did that guy go? Where did that guy go? Because that guy looked like he was probably about 35 years old. He would have I literally lost money on that fight because I bet Tyson would knock him out within the first 3 rounds. I didn't realize we were going to be wearing kid gloves, and every time he had an open shot, he had to pull up. But I'm just telling you that's why I said, I can't take it seriously. Right. It doesn't matter who he fights. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is I understand why they do it. Because listen, as much as I'm saying this right now, if he said, hey, do you want to go in the ring with me and fight me? You're going to make $60 million. Yeah, I'll go in there and make a fool of myself for $60 million. Think about this. Tyson made more money in that fight, right? Than I believe Crawford made against Canelo.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous. That's why I say, like, legitimately, it's a mockery, right? Like, you have 2 skilled, world-class fighters tacticians going back and forth, and a 60-year-old man fighting, I'm just going to call it what it is, a YouTuber, basically made more money. And so that's the reason why I'm saying it's a mockery.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not negating that at all. I just, again, for the sake of trying to keep it, PG or whatever.
Damn the PG. It's crazy.
Trying to be nice out here.
Look, it's straight up bullshit, bro. It's bullshit that people would rather pay to see a YouTube fighter than an actual real fighters. And breaking news, it is some guys that are getting paid. Like Canelo got paid. Like anybody who's under, I always mess it up, Rada season, they're paying these guys. They're paying them $50 million. Like, Ngannou, he literally said, I made $50 million for 2 fights, was more than I ever made in the UFC for 2 boxing matches, right? And the other reason why I say it's a mockery, Sirius and Barry, don't get mad at me, but if anybody in WWF crossed over into MMA boxing or MMA boxing, they would literally get destroyed. They would have a career reckoning day there are MMA fighters who try to cross over into boxing and go back to MMA because they will literally get destroyed by real boxers.
But for what it's worth, listen, I'm not a big WWE/WWF fan, but for what it's worth, you're talking apples to oranges, right? Because when you take an MMA guy and you bring him over to fight to box. You're utilizing half his skill set,
Yep.
right? The same way if you took Crawford and you put him against Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Thomas, he would get destroyed
Give or
in a
take. Give or take. If we go
no
to the
give or take,
ground,
brother.
if we
In a
go to the ground, yeah.
UFC fight, he is going to get destroyed because he may punch him a couple times, but as soon as he closes the gap and takes him down, he is going to
Yeah.
get destroyed. So
Yeah. If you can get him down.
it's not fair to categorize anyone like that. Remember, Brock Lesnar was a world class wrestler.
Yeah.
And he was
Before he ever, no,
mediocre a
right,
mediocre MMA fighter.
right, and that was going to be my point.
He
was
did
a
win a belt,
world
though.
class.
He did.
Right, he did. Right, but it was kind of vacated. Like, to be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah,
But
sure. Yeah.
the point being is that you can be really good at one particular thing, but that doesn't mean you're great at everything. And the one thing I will give to a lot of these WWE superstars, scripted, whatever you want to call it, is they're ridiculously athletic. But if you're gonna say, hey, we're gonna stand up and have a tactical boxing match, yeah, there's you could take the 50th ranked guy and nobody in there is going to beat him. That's like saying, hey, we're gonna take us four and we're gonna put them up against a grandmaster chess player. Let's see how many times it takes us till we win. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a mockery because Jake Paul is considered, I would say lower than WWE in my opinion. And if he fought anybody of any noteworthy in boxing, he would literally
In
get
their
destroyed.
prime. In their prime.
He would literally get destroyed.
Because what he's doing, he's fighting noteworthy people when they're older and decrepit and trying to, again,
he's fighting people that people would come and see. He's fighting name people that people will come and see. Like he fought Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva has a crazy following in mixed martial arts. So he's fighting guys like that. But like I say, it is what it is. Maybe I catch the highlights. I'm gonna watch the undercard for sure, but I don't know. The main fight, yeah, that might be.
I'm probably gonna watch
it. If I'm in a bar.
I ain't gonna hold it. Moving right along, man. The baseball season is on its way to a close. We have some more teams that are mathematically eliminated. We have teams that can clinch or secure playoff berths as early as today. Your Houston Astros are still in the thick of things, bro. Like, I believe the Seattle Mariners will probably wrap up and win that division, but there's wild card potential. The Yankees are in the driver's seat of the wild card spot. If they win today, they officially clinch a playoff berth, and right now the Yankees are losing 2-1 to the Chicago White Sox, which it's the Yankees. I mean, I can't expect anything less. Shout out to the Cubs who last time we were on last week had not clinched, and they have subsequently clinched. The San Diego Padres have clinched. We have a handful of teams in the NL that are still in the thick of things: the Mets, the Reds, Diamondbacks, Cardinals, and the Giants. And officially, the Marlins are officially not mathematically eliminated. In the AL, it comes down to Boston, Yankees, Tigers, Astros, Texas Rangers, and the Kansas City Royals. Spin this around a diamond really quickly, and then we got a lot of football stuff to get into, so I'm not going to waste too much time here on baseball. Villain, talk to me, man. Where's your head at as the season comes to a close and we ready for fall ball, man? Where's your head at?
I mean, the Yankees are, playing a little bit better baseball as we get to it. They're still a little sloppy, but they sorted it out. Went through that tough stretch against the Astros, the Tigers, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, what have you, and did what they needed to do. They didn't fold, but they won games where they had to and came out of it. And now they're in the soft part of their schedule, struggling tonight against the White Sox a little bit. It's 2-1, but that's what they need to do. So they're prime. But I got to go on the other side of New York, and I'd be remiss to not mention the Mets are. We talked about they got swept by the Phillies last week. I think it was, or the week before. I can't remember what it was, but they are in an epic collapse. If this team does not make the playoffs, or even if as a wild card, it's a full on disaster in Queens, and to go from where they were, I don't remember or have the stats in front of me, but like they're 80-76 right now. They were, 20 games over 500, if not more than that, not too long ago. So it's been an epic collapse. Like they've lost series to the Nationals. They lost, they scratched one out against the Padres, but they lost to the Rangers. They got swept by the Phillies. They lost to the Reds. The Reds are right on their heels right now. The Reds team that we didn't think were going to be in the playoff talks.
Correct.
They can back into it, not back into it, but they can get into the playoffs because of how bad the Mets have collapsed. Their fall has been horrendous, and I don't know if they're going to get in. I really don't. The Red Sox have, like I said, they've kind of fallen back a little bit. But at the end of the day, you're talking about the Blue Jays are hanging in there 2 games up. They were up 5 or 6 not too long ago. But the Phillies are playing better baseball. The Brewers are still, playing good baseball. The Dodgers are starting to heat up at the right time. It's going to be interesting in the NL. It's going to be interesting in the AL. I think that the Mariners. Sorry, LG. They're playing really good baseball right now. It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out.
Yeah, I think honestly for me, and again, I'll throw this around to you guys here in a minute. I see Toronto and the Yankees. Shout out to the Cleveland Guardians and Detroit Tigers at the same identical record. That's going to be an interesting little Central Division stretch there. The Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers, a couple weeks ago, Detroit was head and shoulders above everybody else. And I think it was you, Villain, who said this, have one bad weekend and you go from winning your divisions comfortably to now being in a dogfight with somebody nipping at your heels. Philadelphia Phillies has got this wrapped up, in spades. And so the New York Mets are scrapping and clawing to get in there. Shout out to the Padres.
I don't think they're scrapping and clawing at all. That's an overstatement because like they're playing horrific baseball right now. Horrific baseball.
Well, I mean,
they're not scrapping and clawing anything. They're
no. What I'm saying though is if the playoffs started right now, like today, the Mets will be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the playoffs don't start today, serious.
Barely.
And for what it's worth,
barely.
So, to my point of using scrapping and clawing, like they have to fend off the Cincinnati Reds team that's a half a game behind them, Arizona Diamondbacks team that's a full game behind them, the St. Louis Cardinals, which is 3.5 behind the Mets. So the Mets have to scrap and claw and hold on for dear life to get themselves into the postseason. And so do I think they're doing? Not necessarily, but if the playoffs were starting right now, they will be in. They'll be in the dance. So
yeah, but barely. And like between them and the Tigers are doing their best to give the division away too. Like they were up comfortably. Like they're struggling to hang on.
Right.
I talked about that last week.
Yeah.
The Guardians are nipping on their heels.
Correct. Breaking news, talk to me, man. Running around the diamond real quick, man. Where's your head at, bro?
I mean, listen, I'll keep it short, but Barry's right, dude. Like, I do think the Mets are a disaster. I mean, we have to remember where they came from. They were leading this division. They're 4-11 in their last 15, and end in sight is not better. Matter of fact, I think if you look, because I think Cincinnati holds the tie breaks, I actually think they would be just on the outside looking in if the playoffs started today. If you look at the bracket, I'm pretty sure. But the bigger issue for them is when you look at the teams behind them, they're all teams on winning streaks, right? They're all teams that are winning. Now, granted, the Mets are trying to get, their quote unquote act together, but I feel like it might be a little too late, man. You can't get to September and lose 9 out of 10. Like, you just can't do that. And that's what they did. That's literally what they done.
Yeah.
So it's a tough pill to swallow. And then, listen, I talked about two teams last week. I'm gonna talk about those same two teams this week. If you remember, everybody was talking about Detroit, and I said people are they're gonna f around and find out Cleveland's on a hot streak. Well, now they've won 14 of 15, and they are literally nipping at the heels of Detroit, only a game back. And oh, by the way, they actually play a 3-game series versus Detroit, and I'm pretty sure they just took game one. So, and then when you look to further complicate things, Cleveland finishes the season against Texas, who's lost like 7 or 8 in a row, and Detroit plays Boston, a team that has everything to play for. So I think it's very possible Cleveland ends up winning this division. First and foremost, same thing with Seattle. If you remember, I talked about this last week. Seattle's on fire right now.
Yeah,
I think they've won 14 of 16 or 15 of 16. They are looking really good, and every other team in the AL West. Listen, I love my team in my division, but nobody else in this division wants to win a game,
They
and
went
that
9 of
includes
10.
Larry's Houston. I mean, literally everybody, every time they need a win, they end up losing. We talked last week, and Texas was in the race. You come back and look this week; they're not even close to the race.
Yeah.
They're going in reverse while everybody else is going forward. So, for me, the two teams that I'm going to give my kudos to, Cleveland. Cleveland is playing some really good ball right now, and then as Barry said, I think we got to really really look hard at the Mets, because if they miss the playoffs, which I think it's very possible, this is a monumental collapse. I mean, monumental collapse.
Yeah. Larry, talk to me, my man. When I know you're an Astros guy, so if you want to sit there, go right on ahead. But if you're like the homie Steve and don't want to really talk about the Astros spinning around the diamond, man, where's your head at?
I ain't gonna shy away from nothing, bro. I'm like Steve say, man, just put this team to bed, bro. Like, breaking news, your Angels should be over here like Homer talking about join us. Join us.
Hey,
For real.
you know what? The only difference, Larry, is we didn't have any expectations, but that's fine. We can lay down together, man. It's all good.
I mean, so I was all getting my hopes up high because they scrapped it out. Like, the Astros literally were winning games with like 8-9 dudes that should have been in AAA or Double A. And now it's just like,
and then they lose the easy ones.
Right.
Yeah. And this is the crazy part. I've never been a big fan of Espada, because he makes moves sometimes that make your head scratch, right? And me and Steve, we talked offline. It's something about, I love Bagwell, but it's something about when Bagwell's around the team, they just play like crap. And I think that now these issues are starting to come to head. I was fussing about, you got Frauber, he's unsigned, and you didn't get him assigned to an extension. He's basically been the ace the last 3 years. He's been their ace. And then you have him come out and pitch a big game against y'all Astros with a guy who had been called up 9 days before. Espada, what were you thinking? I see why he hit that guy. And now it's just like this Astros team, I just think they've given up. I think he's lost the clubhouse. And we'll see what happens moving forward. Cleveland, they hot right now, but I think y'all Yankees saying no, Cleveland, they'll be hot right now. But they come. Hey,
I'm not gonna hold you, man. As a Yankee fan, right? As a Yankee fan, I am so happy that the Astros is probably not gonna get the dance, because there's nobody else in the AL that I'm really worried about.
How many times have y'all eliminated the Guardians?
We
own them, but one of these days they're gonna break through. But right now they're playing really good baseball.
The Guardians and the Twinkies, man, we eliminate them all like all the time. So
but Detroit and
the what's called too is like, man, I'm gonna put like this. The Reds. Remember, I've always been on the Reds like the last 2 years. They shocking me too.
And Brian said
the Reds are really, really playing good baseball. You know who else? Y'all talking about the Mets blowing it up. You know who else I think might blow it up? The Giants. That's a failure out there too. dude, they spent a lot of money this offseason.
But the thing
They
is with the
spend it
Giants,
wisely.
bro, the thing is with the Giants is they really had no expectation to do too much of anything because of the division that they play in. Like
Yeah.
that is the Dodgers and the Padres division, conference. Like, and then you
I
got
think
Milwaukee
the Dodgers may have gave him a little hope because remember the Padres, because the Padres was playing like really, really good baseball. So I think the Padres maybe gave him a little hope, and that's why they made the trade for from the Red Sox. I forgot his name. They made the trade.
Devers.
For Devers. I think that's why they made the trade. You don't make the Devers trade if you're not at least trying to make the playoffs. Not saying that they'd have made any noise, but they would at least try to make the playoffs. And they're another team that's like, what do you do? Do you blow it up or do you, I don't know, try to add to it? But yeah, I think my overall perspective of this part of baseball, I think that the field is just wide open right now. I think that you don't know who's even going to make the playoffs. Like you say, you have one bad series and you might be on the outside looking in, and there's not a big gap between, even the division leaders and the guys who are making the wild card. Like your Yankees are what, 2 games out?
Yep.
Of first place.
And
they're wild card.
But right now we're struggling to get a win versus the Chicago White Sox. So
even when we was on the show talking about the Brewers, Brewers came back down to earth, and they were the hottest team all year, and they came down to reality. So it's like what. I
mean, the Brew Crew was in the dance, and they won the NL Central. So I mean,
how many games they up in that division? Because they were up like 15 games at one point. They were literally destroying that division.
I mean, they took their foot off the gas, honestly.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm not saying that like you might not be right, Larry, but at the same time, it feels like they downshifted a little bit and maybe took their foot off the gas. I mean, they could have easily won 105 games if they would have kept the pedal to the metal. But it kind of feels like they were like, you know what? Let's make sure we're healthy. Let's make sure we go in with the correct rotation order. Like it seems like everything else is a priority over winning these last few games. Because here's the other thing you got to consider, right? I think they're 6.5 or 7.5 games up right now.
6.5.
And they only and they got what 5-6 games to play. It's like there's literally nothing for them to play for. There's nothing to play for. And the fact that the Chicago Cubs, once again, I talked about this last week, but every time you start to get some hope, right? Like they just let you down. I mean, they literally they win a few games. It's like, okay, they got a shot at the division. Here comes a 5-game lose streak. They win a couple games. Here comes a 4-game losing streak. There is no consistency in Chicago whatsoever. And I think that Milwaukee knew they've had this thing locked, like you said, they've had this thing locked up for 2 months. It was never a question.
But the thing is, even with that up and down that you're alluding to, winning 5 out of the last 5, they won out of the last 10, they won 5, lost 5. The Chicago Cubs in the dance. They punched the ticket to the dance. So
they've been in the dance, right? They clinched last week.
Yeah. So shout out to them for that, man. With that being said, let's pivot really quickly. Anybody want to hit baseball? Anything else right before we move to football?
No.
Go for it, man.
Let's go to work, man. We had some movement in the college ranks on today, man. This news hit my phone early this morning. OSU has fired Gundy. A move that everybody and their mom saw coming. I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to kind of sound off about it, man. Villain, talk to me, bro.
Yeah, I think Coach was talking about it last week. Shout out to Coach. That this was coming and it might be coming. But I mean, when you lose to Tulsa, it's getting bad. And I think they hadn't won a game, or they had won one game since in the last 10 or something like that. He's been there over 20 years, I think 25 years, but at the end of the day, it's time for a new voice. When you're losing at home, or I don't think it was at home. Was it at home to Tulsa, or what was on the road? I don't even know. But when you're losing a game of that magnitude to a much lesser team, it's time. And
it was at home.
It was at home, by the way.
Yeah, it was at home. I apologize. I wasn't sure, but
Yeah.
listen, he's what one of the longest tenured coaches right now
Hmm?
currently, and it's just time. Like I think his voice was just not resonating. I think a lot of these older coaches are going to start getting out of the way because it's a different ball game with NIL and all that kind of stuff. So it you need a new voice to come in there and kind of get this shit righted. I think you got to start now, get the program in, not to get the program, just get it kind of in order somewhat until you find your long term solution. Um, yeah, it doesn't take away from what he's done as a coach. He's a really good coach. He's been a great coach. He's a Hall of Famer, but it's just time.
I mean, I look at it like this, and we're spinning around the room, and we can talk about anything else college football related here. But I mean, this Oklahoma State ball club, was 1-2. And there was 1-1 in the conference. So I mean, I get it. This was something that we all expected to happen, but I personally feel as though it might have been a little bit premature based off of how the guys were playing this season. Like, again, you can't lose to a Tulsa outfit at home, in the manner in which they did. I mean, they lost 19-12. And you're
Yeah, but
Oklahoma
I'm not
State.
surprised that after that Oregon game that he wasn't fired. That was an embarrassment.
It's Oregon, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
What,
I'm
six
not making
nine
excuses
to
for.
three, and you're a Big Ten team,
I mean,
huh?
I'm not making excuses for him to not get fired. I just think there's maybe a causality, like 69-3. I get it. Oregon's going to do that to a lot of teams. Not Penn State this weekend, but Oregon's going to do that to a lot of teams because they're just that damn good. They're the sixth-ranked team in the country for a reason, and so they did look unprepared in that ball game. But they were jumping from the rooftop when they opened the season against Martin, lose the next two, and then all of a sudden you're out. You got Baylor, Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati coming up, so you got the bulk of your schedule coming out, and you got some really heavy hitters here. So as far as kind of maintaining the ship and kind of righting the wrong, if you will, and kind of getting ahead of the coaches' shirts, I feel as though the better play would be to keep a familiar voice there to kind of right this ship. Unless there was some underhanded stuff going on or some stuff behind closed doors that I may not be aware of. Like you got Baylor, Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, Texas Tech, Kansas, Kansas State, UCF, and Iowa State left. Like and you're throwing a new head coach into this program. Like,
But it's been going bad for a while. And I don't know if
Mhm.
Larry or Brian wanted to chime in, but it's been going bad for a while. And I get what you're saying, losing to Oregon on the road is not something to say like a lot of people do, but the way they lost, it was embarrassing
yeah,
for the program. It was embarrassing for themselves, like you said. A coach would say it himself. They were unprepared. They came in and looked like they didn't belong. They looked like they didn't belong on a high school team in Texas or Oklahoma. They didn't belong on the field with them. That's how bad it looked. And I don't want to disparage these players, these kids, but like they just did. It was a culmination of what's been going on the last couple of years down in
yeah,
Oklahoma State.
All right. So here's what I would say, right? So what I would say is Mike Gundy is a hell of a coach. We know that, right? Like the record speaks for itself. The consecutive 10-win seasons, the championships. The problem here's the issue, and I talked to you guys about this 2 weeks ago. I actually think the team is better now than it was last year. Like it's getting progressively better. The problem is 2 years ago when you look at the drop off, right, from 2022 to 2023, and then from 23 to 24, and the fact that they have, I want it's either 11 or 12 games. I could look it up because I was looking at this right before I came on the show, but they have like a streak of like FBS teams, they've lost like 11 or 12 games in a row to FBS opponents. Meaning, I mean, literally, this dates back to last year. They cannot beat a team in the FBS. That is your, that's your Miami of Ohio's. That is your UTEP's. That is teams that Oklahoma State should beat. And I think Barry is right. Listen, you know what? I don't think anybody expected them to beat Oregon, but you can't lose 69-3. You just can't. Listen, if I'm coaching that team, I don't care if I've got to run the ball all three downs and milk the clock and do play the best game of keep away I've ever done in my life. So they only beat us 39-3. You cannot lose 69-3 like that. And the way they lost was so much worse than the score even indicated. It was like a halfback dive up the middle that went for 70, right? It was like a bubble screen that went for 70. It's like they were out of alignment. Pursuit angles were off. There was no speed. And all we had heard about all offseason was, watch out for this new look OSU team. They got all these kids in the transfer portal. They just got a new offensive and defensive coordinator. Gundy's fired up. Well, I'm sorry. You know what? It just didn't measure up. And to be honest with you, kudos to OSU for having some semblance of a standard. You know what? It's hard to let these legends go. I mean, remember when Mac got fired in Texas? Everybody freaked out. Nobody's freaking out now, right? Like they're like, you know what? Hey, this guy's, the new head coach is pretty good, right? Remember when everybody was freaking out because Bobby Bowden left, and we're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do, right? That's what's going on here. When you have a legend and you have a guy that's had, been somewhere 20 years and this is all you've ever known, this is the expectation. I think what people don't realize is maybe a little less now than it did 10 years ago, but OSU is a pretty big name program that carries a lot of cachet. Like you get a halfway decent, and I'm just going to throw a name out there, I'm saying like a comparable person. You get like a Lane Kiffin in there, this team's immediately going to be back in the top 25. You need somebody that can relate to the kids and can recruit. And I know we'll talk about them later, but I mean, speaking of which, look at what Lane Kiffin has done with Ole Miss over the last few years and what he's been able to build up there. That's what they need. They need an injection of life and youth. They need young coaches, and they have some, but what they need is a younger head coach that's energetic, fired up, and is going to be willing to go out there and bang heads and get these kids to run through a wall for him. Because right now, that team plays tentative. They take bad angles, and they're given half effort at best.
Larry, talk to me, man. What's your head at, big dog?
Man, look, I'm gonna go different than y'all. I'm like, this is like old yellow. It's time to go put the old dog out for pasture. Like, let's just keep it a buck, like you say, man. Like last year, that team was horrible, right?
Yep.
But these coaches, and I'm gonna say these coaches been there for a long time. They've been coaching for a long time. And are you relatable to these players? And let's just keep it up. Let's just keep it 100. Like, you ever been that guy at the job and you're like, oh, I come to work every day and I do my job, but your manager don't like you, your boss don't like you, and they trying to find an excuse to let you go.
Yep. Yeah, every time.
3-9, and then the way they looked this season was the excuse to let him go. Like, let's not act funny. Like, let's not act like that whole team with Chuba Hubbard wasn't threatening to boycott him. Like, let's keep it 100, like you say. Let's keep it a buck. Like, does anybody really want to go and play for this guy? Like,
that's the thing.
And that was like the third or fourth thing that he's gotten in trouble for. Yeah. Like, it's like I think winning, people overlook stuff for winning, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times. You could be a hard, even Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has been through some controversies. It's like, but you're winning, so we'll look past it, right?
But when you ain't winning,
now winning is like, yeah, now we can go ahead and let you go. Now we can go in and get you out of here. And like now he talking about he want to still keep coaching. And I just think it's the end of the road for him. I think that, hey, let him ride off. He was a good coach. He never was that coach to kind of get them over the top. I think they made the playoffs, but I don't think they've ever made it to like the championship game. They've had some good teams. He put a lot of guys in the NFL because they keep guys in the NFL. But I think it's time for him to go get him a rocking chair and put him out the pasture. I'm keeping it PG right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
By the way, just to piggyback real quick on what Larry said, I think it's also interesting if you look at what happened with UCLA last week and this week. One correlation just to kind of circle back on, because I do think one thing that boosters and athletic directors hate is when you have to pay money to lose. Right? It wasn't a lot compared to the 1.2 million last week, but OSU did pay Tulsa $300,000 to come and play that game to get their butt kicked. So once again, teams do not like having to pay quote unquote lower tiered teams to come to their building and then get whooped.
And did y'all watch the end of the game? Like Tulsa literally had a celebration on their field.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
that was
crazy.
Yeah. Like, dude, not only did we pay them, they had a whole party on our field at the
They were waving. Did you see them? They were waving goodbye. They were waving goodbye.
Yeah, bro.
Like, what the heck?
Dude, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, some of them Oklahoma State players like they wanted to go and join the party. I mean,
Yeah,
bro,
it was
that's crazy.
not pretty.
Yeah. Villain, talk to me, man. You want to spin around college real quick before we start breaking down these picks and going what took place last week, man?
I mean, we had some really good games last week. I mean, I don't know if Napier's done, but I mean, it ain't looking good, right? In Florida, I mean, it was a tough game to play against Miami, but listen, we knew it was coming. It was the hard part of the schedule. And it was.
I'm looking at Florida's schedule right now, man. I'm not sure if I can find too many more wins on the schedule.
When Florida, but for what it's worth, when Florida ran it down their throat, right, and then got the fumble, I was thinking, oh my God, I was thinking the Hurricanes about to get upset, right? The D played really well. Obviously, they got tired there at the end, but like you just said, Barry, I don't know if Napier could complete a 10-yard out if his life depended on it, right? Like if you look at every throw that they threw, it was within the hash marks, 4 yards away, max.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how you run an offense like that. I mean, as mobile and as athletic as he is, like I was even saying, listen, if you got to run speed option, if you got to do, boot and maybe give yourself an option of a run pass throw, but some of it's on him, but some of it is like, hey, can we spice up this offense a little bit and try to make it look some semblance of an offense that could actually move the ball? Because let's not pretend like we weren't all sitting there in the third quarter. And Sirius, I texted you. I said, Hurricanes are on upset alert, here in the third quarter. Like there was a real shot that they were about to get upsetted when Beck threw that pick in the third, and I was like, because we all know from his time in Georgia, like Beck, you got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When you get bad Beck, it just it goes down in a crash. So I thought we were going to get it bad, but Napier totally bailed them out, right? Him and the offensive coordinator, they were not completing passes. They were not moving the ball the way they needed to. And it's really unfortunate because that Florida defense really kept them in the game way longer than they deserved to be in the game.
Yeah.
Right. No, I agree with you. And what else? What else I saw? I thought Illinois Indiana was going to be a competitive game.
I did not.
Yeah, somebody forgot to tell Illinois that because Indiana beat the crap out of them. Yeah, Indiana beat the crap out of them. There's no way to mince around it. They beat the crap out of them. So I was really surprised about that game. Indiana went up and down the field at will. They looked really good. Mendoza, he looked like a Heisman Trophy candidate against Illinois. And I know we'll probably get to it, but I'll just throw it out there and let you guys tee off. Clemson is finished. I didn't think Syracuse could win that game. I thought Syracuse could keep it close. They won that game going away and allowed Clemson to kind of get into the game a little bit in the second half, but there was no shot. they had no shot in that
Mhm.
game. And Syracuse is a better team than a lot of people give them credit for, including me, because I saw them against my Yukon Huskies.
Yeah.
They have some talent there, but I mean Clemson, they're lost. They're absolutely lost right now.
Listen, if you guys remember last week, I mean, I was the first one to pick them. I told you the one thing I was super worried about with Illinois is their ability to run the ball. If you remember that, I told you that Illinois likes to run the ball between the tackles, and no team in the nation was better at stopping the run than
Mhm.
Indiana. And what played out? They had two positive rush yards in the entire game.
Yeah.
Obviously got sacked, stuff like that. But the point being is they could not run the ball. And once they could not run the ball and they had to focus just on the pass, that team fell apart. And you know what? It's going to be one of the reasons why Illinois is a team I'm going to be picking against this week.
Yep. Larry, talk to me, man. You want to spin around anywhere else, bro?
Florida State won.
Yeah, FSU.
Florida State won. Dude, I think I'm gonna go a little bit. Well, for me, and it was one of my picks, dude. I did catch that Sacred Heart in Norfolk State game. I think Vic's gonna be okay, bro. They were down, but they fought tooth and nail and came back. So I watched most of that game. I was kind of flipping it back and forth, but of course, they end up winning. I think he just doesn't have enough talent, but I like what Vic is doing down there. Like I said, a lot of them guys not going to get a lot of airtime, but they are showing their games on ESPN Plus, so I'll take that. I'm gonna go a little bit different than you guys. Steve kind of hit on it in the chat, but I wanted to watch Colorado and Wyoming, and I didn't want to stay up to the next day to watch it. Like it was literally like 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and it was 12:45 my time. I was like, what in that USC game? Breaking news. What time did it go off your time?
I think it ended up going off my time at like 10:40.
I was asleep, dude.
Yeah. But let me tell you, by the way, like just because you brought it up, like this is the reason why I no longer do parlays or betting. And I know I mentioned this last week, but USC is up by 21 with like a minute 30 to go, 3rd and 10, and Childs just literally throws a moon ball straight up in the air, and the USC defender slips. And he catches it, runs it in from 80 yards out so that they don't cover the 18 and a half.
18 and a half, yeah.
He was asleep, man.
I'm like, oh, come on,
man. It was too late at night. He probably fell asleep, man. But yeah, that's the only thing.
Hey, did you guys see the end of the half that Dominic Raiola, the Hail Mary,
that was a good game
into the end zone? And yeah, dude, I was gonna say, like, I thought honestly that they were kind of sleeping a little bit on Michigan with that line, but the line played pretty close, right? Like I think it was 2.5, and Michigan ended up winning by 3. But yeah, that pass at the end of the half was just ridiculous. He had 6 Michigan defenders around him, and not one person swatted at the ball. Did you notice that? Not one guy swatted at the ball.
That was perfectly placed when his receiver jumped up and got it, dude. And like, well, this is what I will say. Breaking news: we went into this season. I know we're going to get into the NFL in a minute, and everybody was like on this Clay Klubnik hype and Drew Alla hype and Manning, dude. He ain't Patrick Mahomes, but I think he might be the best quarterback coming out. Like he throws like that deep ball was on point. But if you look at those Nebraska games, win, lose, or draw, he's probably the best player on the field. Like I like his short accuracy, I like his intermediate accuracy, I like his deep ball. I like the fact that they're actually letting him call plays. Like he's actually taking balls from underneath the center. He's gonna be pro ready.
I'm gonna tell you one thing that I find very interesting, and this is one thing that a lot of people gave me a lot of shit for, right? Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I said I liked Michael Penix more than I liked Caleb Williams coming out. And I agree with you, by the way. I think as a whole group, we focus way too much on accuracy, right? Like accuracy is important. Don't get me wrong; it's a key attribute. But you have some quarterbacks that literally never throw a pass over 5 yards. They're all bubble screens. They're all quick slants. Of course they're going to have high completion percentage. The things that don't change, like you really want to see who the guy is you're drafting. Check that guy out at the end of the half, like Raiola, down and you're trying to score a touchdown. Check out their demeanor when it's the fourth quarter, you're down by 7 in an opposing stadium, and the crowd's going wild, and your team doesn't around you doesn't necessarily look like they feel like they got a shot to win. Like you can always tell the natural leaders because even when they don't win, you'll see the offense has a little bit of a giddy up in their step. They almost like, you know what? I I I think our guy can do it, kind of thing. And there's a few of those guys. There is a few of those guys, and I think we'll talk about some of them. But I usually don't get into the breakdown of the review of film and all that until probably like November, December-ish. But man, it's going to be interesting because I think this is going to be another good running back class as well.
Like I said,
Gotcha.
for me, the thing that I like about that guy is that from a talent perspective, he don't have as much talent as some of these other teams have, but he can literally throw guys open. I've seen him do it too many times
Mhm.
over and over, and that's something you cannot teach quarterbacks.
Well, and the other thing and people hate this term because they associate it a lot with the kid there in Tampa. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Johnny, not Johnny Man. What's the kid's name? The Tampa
Oh,
Bay Bucks
Baker.
quarterback.
Oh,
Baker. Thank
Baker,
you.
Baker.
Is Moxie. Like, listen,
Yeah.
nobody wants to give the kid, give the dude credit, but listen, he's 3-0 with three fourth quarter comebacks this
Mhm.
year. Like that kind of stuff matters, right? Like your team is down, the defense holds, we're down by 3, and we need you to drive us 90 yards and win the game for us. Like if you don't have a quarterback that can do that, it's like it's real easy to be the quarterback when you're up by 21 and the running game is getting 7 yards a clip, right?
Mhm.
It's like who's the guys that can put the team on their back when things are not going right? And it's like that's the guy you want to build around.
Right. With that being said, man, let's go into these picks for this week, man. Again, last week was a wild week. It's actually kind of one of the better weeks of picking. I went 4-1. Villain went
Nice.
Villain went 4-1. Coach went 3-2. Breaking news: you yourself went 3-2, and Larry went 4-1. So pretty decent day for the panel picking these games. Wanted to let you guys go and pick today's game. Unfortunately, Coach isn't here today, so should be able to get these in and out pretty quickly. Larry, you need a minute. You want to go first?
I'll go first. Villain will go first.
Villain, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like the games this week. Obviously my number 5 pick is going to be our Florida State Seminoles. Give me Florida State minus
Yeah.
6.5. Virginia's a good team, but I think I'm picking a lot of road dogs. So I'm gonna gamble on the road dogs this week. Give me Florida State minus 6.5 against Virginia this week. Going to Virginia, but I like Florida State. Even though we might have an issue with the quarterback, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll play. I think we'll be fine.
Florida State's coming to UVA.
Yes.
I might be at that
Yes.
game because literally that's 20 minutes from my house right now. I may
Yeah,
have to go to that
absolutely.
one.
Well,
It's going to be a
all
good
right.
game.
I think it's going to be a very good game, 7 o'clock game. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And don't sleep with Virginia. Virginia's a good team, but I think Florida State can take that one. My number 4, I'm gonna do West Virginia plus 13.5 against Utah. I don't know why they're giving Utah 13.5 right now after the embarrassment that they laid last week. It was close, and then they just got boat raced by the fourth quarter. Utah did, so I wasn't impressed with what I saw. Their offense looked terrible, turnovers galore by both teams. But Utah did not have any kind of semblance of offense. So to think that they could put 14 points up right away against a decent West Virginia team, I'll take the points. They might win the game, but I'll take the points. 13 plus 13.5. I'll take at number 3 Notre Dame minus 3.5 at Arkansas. I think Notre Dame is going to get even this week, go to 2-2, and justify the fact that they're still ranked, right, Larry?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I like to trigger Larry on that one.
Hey, look, U of H is still not ranked.
I know, which is ridiculous. U of H has got a good team down there, but I think on the road still give me Notre Dame minus 3.5 against Arkansas. This one, my number 2 pick, I was a little shaky on this one. Wasn't sure if I was going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I got burned last year when I picked this game, but I don't think I'm going to get burned this year. Give me Georgia at home minus 3.5 against Alabama. I know these teams play pretty close. It's not as close as Iowa State, but I think Georgia this year will not get tripped up, will not smell the roses against Alabama, even though Alabama has reeled off 2 wins after their opening season loss against the Florida State Seminoles. I honestly feel like, you know what? But honestly, I feel like Georgia's going to get this game at home against Alabama. Coming off a really good win, they had a bye, but a good win against Tennessee. Give me that game. And then number one, my number 1 confidence pick. I always got to go with my boys, my UConn Huskies. Give me UConn minus 3.5 against Buffalo. I think UConn can get that win. I think they can get a win by at least a touchdown. So if it's 3.5, give me the 3.5 against Buffalo.
All right, so you got Florida State at minus 6.5, West Virginia at plus 13.5, Notre Dame at minus 3.5, Georgia at minus 3.5, and UConn at minus 3.5.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Breaking news. Talk to me, my guy.
All right, boys and girls. I went 3-2 last week. Looking for a little bit of a bounce back. I'm also going to be picking a lot of the top 25 games. Usually the spreads are usually pretty spot on, but I feel like a couple of them I'm not quite digging. I'm going to start right where Barry went. Number 5, I'm going Florida State at Virginia. I'm going to lay the 6.5 at Florida State. Virginia, although their offense is good, their defense is not. Florida State's defense is good. So I just don't see Virginia being able to stay with Florida State. They're good on one side of the ball. Florida State's good on both sides of the ball. The next one is LSU at Ole Miss, and this is going to surprise some people, but I'm going to take Ole Miss minus the 1.5. Listen, at home, that offense is humming and clicking right now. This is a prove it game right here. You got a lot of young guys here in Ole Miss, and let's keep it a buck. LSU is LSU, but at the same time, their offense has not looked that good the last couple of weeks. They've been okay. But they haven't been great. You're going up against a really good Ole Miss defense, and I don't see LSU scoring more than 20, to be completely frank. My number 3 game, I'm going to take San Diego State minus 3 versus Northern Illinois. It's always tough to travel east to West Coast like that. San Diego State is coming off a 30-0 throttling of the Cal Bears. San Diego State's a really good team, and then you look at Northern Illinois. Their last 2 games against FBS opponents, they failed to score more than 10 points. So I think this just sets up for a game where it could be a 17-10 type game, but I think San Diego State will definitely win this one. Illinois at home versus USC. Listen, my Trojans, top 5 offensive team. They really showed against Michigan, a team that really wanted to run the ball and stop the run. And I want to give Lincoln Riley some credit while I'm sitting here doing this, because Lincoln Riley typically shies away from kind of that head-to-head mash type duel. He kind of will kind of go in the opposite direction of what the other team's strength is. Well, Michigan State's strength was they were a top 5 run defense, and USC ran for 260 plus yards right down the middle, right down their throat. And I think you're going to see the same thing happen versus Illinois. I think USC right now, their offense is just on another level, and they're probably the only team right now ranked outside the top 20 that could potentially be national championship type caliber. That offense is that good. All the other teams right now are definitely top 20 that you're going to see in that playoff. But I think that they're a team that was a fringe team that people could be shocked 3-4 weeks from now, seeing them as a top 10, top 12 type team. And finally, TCU at ASU. You guys know I love ASU. Sam Levitt, he's been playing out of his mind, but TCU, I don't know if you guys have watched Hoover, if you've watched Dwyer, if you watch McAllister, their wide receivers. TCU has a top 5 passing attack. It's super hard to shut them down. You guys know last week I went with SMU. SMU did not cover, and watching TCU, I can now understand why. TCU is a really, really good team. So I'll take TCU plus the 2.5 on the road. I think TCU will handle business.
All right, so just to recap, my guy, we got Florida State at -6.5, Ole Miss at -1.5, San Diego State at -3.5. Did I get that right?
-3.
-3 even. Okay, -3 even. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. USC at -6.5, and then
Yep.
TCU at +2.5.
You got it.
All right, sir. Appreciate you. Larry, you good? You need a minute?
Nah, I think I'm good, man. But sometimes I might need breaking news to look up some stuff for me.
Yeah,
It's funny.
me and Barry got you, brother.
Hey, it's funny because CK sent me a line the other day he wanted me to look at, and I tried to pull it up, and it said the state you are in is unavailable for you to look at it. And I was like, "Yeah, brother, that's what I'm talking about."
Hold up. What?
Yeah, the state that you're in. I wasn't even to be able. couldn't even see his bet because of the state I'm in. Yeah,
which is the Dominican Republic.
Sometimes I can't see you. I can't see UConn. I can't bet on Connecticut games in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can never lay a bet on my UConn Huskies for basketball in Connecticut.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Alaska.
I can't use them in a parlay. Nothing. It kills me.
Like one of those uncharted islands in the middle of the Pacific. I feel like that's where I'm at. Yeah. But my number 5 pick, I'm gonna, like I said, I normally like to put something on HBUs. I couldn't find a line for it, so I put it as no line. But I want to take Grambling State. I think that butt kicking that they took from Ohio State will pay off, and they will beat Prairie View. They play Prairie View A&M. That's a good game that's in the Cowboy Stadium, so that should be a good game. Rivalry.
Do you have a line on that one? Breaking news, villain.
Give me 1 second. I'm looking it up right now, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to take Grambling State for the win.
All right, go ahead.
My number 4 pick, because I think that they're a sleeping dog that people are not really paying attention to. They came off that big South Carolina win. I want to take Vanderbilt. The line is that I looked last was 21.5, but Utah State's good, but I think they're not Vanderbilt good. So I want to take Vanderbilt with my number 4 pick.
Okay.
This is gonna be a good game, though. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think Vanderbilt's gonna beat them by at least 3 touchdowns. With my number 3 pick, Barry, I'm gonna ride with your boys, man. Hey, I'm gonna take these Huskies, man. Look, I'm gonna take them. I think that's what 3.5. Yep.
Yeah.
I want to take that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Like I say, man, you know what? It's one of the teams that I want to be put out their misery as much as I want to see Florida put out their misery. And that's this damn get rolled over Tide, man. With my number 2 pick, I'm taking Georgia, man. Like, dude, Alabama ain't played nobody. You beat L.A. Monroe, bro. Come on, come on now. Like, yeah, dude. They're not gonna beat Georgia. And I actually like that line. Georgia's only favored by 3. I think that they beat them by more than it's 3.5 now. Yeah, I think they're gonna beat them by more than that. Yeah. And then for my 1-point play, because I like the line, and I think that this game is gonna be a coming back down to earth moment. I'm taking the Oregon Ducks over your Nitty Lions.
That means about to win the ball game, so I'm good.
Nah.
Thank you so much. The Oregon plus 3.5.
Hey, your Lions, they've been a little shaky now.
We've been playing popcorn U, so I can't even mad at the pick.
Yeah, but they've been a little shaky. And Oregon has literally been destroying teams. Like Yeah, they may not score 69, but they may score 50, 45.
So you're taking Vanderbilt at minus 21.5?
Yep, with my 4 point.
Okay. Did we ever find
Grambling State, Vanderbilt, UConn, Georgia, and Oregon?
So I got Vanderbilt at minus 21.5, UConn at 3.5, Georgia at 3.5, and Oregon at plus 3.5.
Yep.
All right. We'll get the Grambling State one here in a little bit. My 5-point play, gentlemen. I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel. Florida State comes out this way to Charlottesville to play UVA. Yeah, give me all that and then some. That line probably should be higher than a touchdown lead, but we'll keep it we'll keep it there. For my 4-point play, this Texas and this Ole Miss LSU is pretty much even money. I want to mess around with Ole Miss, but give me LSU. Give me LSU. I'm gonna regret that. I know I am. Whatever. LSU and that line is 1.5, so 1.5 there. My 3-point play, gentlemen. I'm gonna take Massachusetts to cover the 43.5 against Missouri. Call me crazy, call me wanting to be goofy, but if you get beat by 45 points, bro, so I'm gonna go with you, man. I mean, they spotting you 40. Was it 43? Yeah, 43.5. I mean, call me crazy. I'm gonna keep beating this drum until they get it right, man. Colorado at plus 6.5. I can't quit beyond. So give me that. And I'm gonna do Alabama plus 3.5 here, just to go against the grain.
Don't put no money on that.
I'm not.
Don't put no money on that.
I am not doing that. So my 5 is Florida State at minus 6.5, LSU at minus 1.5, UMass at plus 43.5, Colorado at plus 6.5, and Alabama at plus 3.5. So that's how the college joint rocks out, man. I will try my best to get this out to you guys before the game starts this week instead of right before the show starts.
Yeah, make sure you get it right this time.
Well, bro, let's check this out. Check 1, 2. I'm gonna get this to you. So just what I'm saying, you just let me know.
He tried to jip me. He tried to jip me on Michigan minus 2.5.
And not trying to see, here you go talking that craziness.
Like I got to keep it a beat. You know what I mean?
There's no line. No line on ESPN, boys, but on other sites like, not that we're encouraging gambling, but like BetUS and stuff like that, they have Grambling minus 2.5 on the road.
Good looking out breaking.
You said minus 2.5?
Minus 2.5. Yeah, okay. ESPN has no line on it.
Okay.
He has no line.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
All right, so are we go?
Hey, look, if anybody from ESPN or any of these other sites watching, like, man, give some love to the HBU. Let them lose their money too. Let stop putting lines out there. Like some of these, like I'm being for real, dude.
Do your job. Do your job out like ESPN.
Yeah, like real talk, dude. Like some of these.
You think only big schools want to lose money?
Yeah,
come on, man.
Like, but some of these games are really big games. Like when Grambling plays Southern in the Bayou Classic,
there's
probably going to be 100,000 people at that game. Like some of these games are really big games. Put a line out there. Everybody want to lose money too.
Yeah. Amen.
All money is good money.
It's all green. It's all green.
So, all right. With that being said, we are going to pivot
Oh, it's time, baby.
over to the NFL. Man, there's been a lot that's been going on across the National Football League. Villain wrote and spoke a very eloquent recap of what took place on Sunday night versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and then this afternoon we had a quarterback change, which I, for one, am slightly shocked that it happened.
I'm not.
I am, and I'll explain why in a minute. But for those of you guys who didn't watch the video, Villain, let's start with you, bro. Jackson Dart is now your man. How you feel?
I mean, I put it in a couple of different ways, but I'll say it like this. You couldn't go on with Russell Wilson. Larry has been, texting me and messaging me like, dude, I told you. And I'm like, Pops, you ain't tell me shit. Get on out of my house. But I'm like, shout out to Larry.
Nah, man, say it right. I said the good, the bad, and the girl you don't bring home from the club.
Yeah, that's right. So, it's funny that we're at this point because you thought Russell Wilson could buy you a couple more games and you didn't have to bring Dart at this situation. But I'm at the point where, like, you know what? You're going to have to play these teams at some point. If you're Jackson Dart, get it together, man. Learn now. Learn on the job. Learn on the fly. It's the only chess move that Dable has to put Dart out there that won't get him fired at this point. I got a rookie quarterback, boom, boom, boom. He's learning, and, he lived to be another day. But the Kafka is the problem. He's got to go. You got neighbors out there like, I don't know what the problem is. It wasn't DJ last year. It wasn't him. I don't know what it is. But something got changed. Like, he's telling you, like, there's a problem with the coaching, and it's Kafka. His offense is boring. It's unimaginative. So, I mean, from that perspective, but Russell Wilson, I don't want to take a dump on the guy because I hate doing that at this point. The villain's matured. I'm a little bit more mature in my ways, but, like, you can't go first and goal at the 4 or 5 yard line and then proceed to throw the ball not even out of the back of the end zone, but nowhere near to the runway and get a intentional grounding. The next play is a draw. Thanks, Mike Kafka. That's why you need to go. And then the third down play, you throw it over somebody's head. The fourth down play, you throw it over somebody's head. And it's to the point where it's like, you're not throwing it in harm's way to give your best receiver, or neighbors, or anybody a chance to make a play. It's almost like it was selfish, Larry. It was almost like he did it so that he doesn't look bad. He threw it away on fourth down so he doesn't look bad. That's how I almost got the feeling of it. You know what I mean? So you just can't go on. Like, it's not even like bad, stupid football play. It's like, why are you throwing the ball away on fourth down? Why are you throwing the ball away on fourth down? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, from that
Didn't he hit the field goal post?
Yeah, it's in the field goal post. Breaking news.
I wasn't able to watch the game, but I was reading the highlights, and I was like,
I said the chick you don't bring home from the club, man.
Yeah, but it's
drunk.
like,
you're not that
Larry,
drunk, bro.
It's like, well, I've already thrown 2 interceptions. I don't want to throw a third. That makes me look even worse. So I'll just throw it away.
Listen, I'm just gonna tell you right now. I know it's not pretty. I know it's not sexy, but I feel like I'm like the Notre Dame of New York Giants football. I told you that you guys are going to draft Jackson Dart. You drafted Jackson Dart. I told you he was going to be starting early in the year. I think the only reason he wasn't your week 1 starter was I think that they were waiting for Thomas to get back. Just keeping it a buck. Because let's be honest, the only time that Russell Wilson looked like even a serviceable quarterback was against Dallas. And by the way, I don't know if anybody's watched anybody else who's played Dallas, like Caleb Williams or anyone else. Everybody looks friggin' good against Dallas. Everybody looks good against Dallas. So you throw that one game out, he has not been good. And I would even go as far as to say, you could blame it on Kafka, but I'm going to just lay the blame where the blame deserves to be. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, a veteran quarterback that's been in this league a long time. He, in different ways, lost both those games that they lost, right?
Yeah.
Like, he lost the game. He lost the game against the Cowboys. He literally did a 3 flies up in overtime and just was like, "Hey, neighbors, go get it." I mean, the ball wasn't even close.
Russell Wilson has lost the last 8 games he's played, dating back to last year against Pittsburgh.
And you can
What did I say?
back to him. You could point it back to him, right? Like a lot of the reasons why they lose is because of him. And one stat that came out that I saw on TV today is that he's probably the 32nd worst. Well, look, he ranks 32nd in red zone efficiency.
Yeah, he has a 0 QBR.
A 0.2.
0.2.
0.8. You round it up to 1. You round it up to 1. That's how bad it is. Like you ain't hear me, serious. You round it up to 1, and that's his QBR in the red zone. 32. You know how many quarterbacks started in this league this year? But you know how many quarterbacks start every game this year? 32. 32.
Barry, you remember what I said? And Serious knows I sent him the numbers. I said Russ cooks against bad defenses. He cooks against bad defenses. Against if you middle of the pack or better, you're gonna get Russell Wilson. And he's not a pocket passer. Dayball's trying to make him be a pocket passer.
It's not Dayball. It's Kafka. Kafka can't figure out a way to get this offense going. Can't figure out a way to get Neighbors your best player of the ball. I would have rather have seen Jameis Winston than I would rather see Russell Wilson at this point right now. But if you're going to name,
why should they go to Jameis Winston before Dart?
But if you name Dart your number 2 quarterback, why would you skip him and go on Jameis Winston? Then that's everybody's in an uproar if you do that. Everybody.
You know why I say that they're starting Dart this week is actually bad in my opinion.
They're playing the Chargers.
Have y'all seen that Chargers defense?
The Chargers defense
Yeah. You start him next week against the Saints, not this week against the Chargers.
But you got to give him at least 2 games under his belt before you play the Eagles 2 times in 3 weeks. I listen. I understand what you're saying. You're not wrong, but eventually you got to play good defenses. You can't duck and hide this kid. Oh, we're going to play him against the Saints, but not against the good teams like the Chargers. No, that's not how this league works. You got to prove your mettle against these teams, and that's what I'm saying. I would have gone with Jameis Winston if they named him the number 2 quarterback. Since you put Dart at 2 and Winston at 3, you got no choice. If you're going to bench Wilson, you got to put Dart in because then everybody's going to be, why'd you skip him? Why'd you skip Dart and go to Winston? What are we doing here? And then that's how Dable gets fired.
Dable's a sitting duck anyway.
Oh yeah.
But here's my retort to that. And I told you I would save my retort for the show. I feel as though the New York Giants, albeit they had to make a shake, I just don't feel as though Jackson Dart was the play. Because you can't come out and say, yo, we're not going to play him this year. Everything that we've alluded to, before the season started, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. I sat with you and Adriana and Anthony and your guys on your New York Giants podcast. Currently sitting right now with a couple hundred subscribers and followers on YouTube. Go check it out. Talk about the importance of having this be a redshirt year for Jackson Dart. And I see the frustration permeating from your ears, and I see the frustration permeating from all Giants fans. And I understand that you need a shot in the arm, and I understand you need a shot of adrenaline. I understand that. But what I also understand is that you are setting this guy up to fail by playing him now. And I feel as though if the game plan, again, you have to pivot, but if the game plan wasn't to play Dart, then having him as your number 2 quarterback is bad business and bad practice by Dable, because again, your whole game plan was to have him sit behind not one but 2 veteran quarterbacks and Jameis Winston and Russ Wilson, and you throw him into the frying pan versus the number 2 ranked defense in the league, and you have the Philadelphia Eagles coming up, and you have some other crazy defense coming up again. You can't hide the guy. I'm not trying to say you hide him, but you got to protect him from himself. Like CJ Stroud is on the verge of getting ran out of Houston because his offensive line can't help him. You know what I'm saying? We got Trevor Lawrence, who is having a horrible year right now because his teammates can't help him. And so I understand that Brian Dable and Joe Shane and these guys are trying to keep their job. And, if you play Jackson Dart, you have the bargaining chip. Well, we played a rookie, so maybe it buys me the start of next year to get it together. But for the development of your future franchise quarterback, you only catch lightning in a bottle once. You only catch, Eli Manning once. You only catch a Big Ben once. You only catch, these guys once in a lifetime. And I think Jackson Dart can be the guy, but let's keep it a bean. Offensive line is pitiful. You're playing in arguably the worst schedule that you've had in quite a while. If that's your franchise guy, you gotta help him a little bit. And right now, I don't think the Giants are set up. Not to mention, you just lost Tyrone Tracy for 2-4.
No. Hey, wait. I will say this. Sears, and you know better than anybody. I would have went to Jameson because Jameson is one of them dudes. I ain't gonna say the correct term, but mess around and find out.
Yeah.
Jameson probably would have, if you give him 4 games, he might have went 2-2.
Jameson would have won some games.
Yeah,
sure,
Jameson will win you some games, especially
that's
with
what
a
I mean,
receiver like that, like Neighbors, right?
He was the number 3 guy. You can't skip.
It don't matter. You could have said he's not
It
ready.
does matter. It does matter.
Well, again,
It does matter. New York, Larry.
So
New York media would have killed them if they skipped over Dart to go.
I got you, but that's my point. Jameis Winston should have been the number 2.
Yes,
of course, of course.
Again,
I don't. So they set themselves up. They set themselves up.
They did.
But I'll say this is the good thing out of that. What's going on with your Giants, Barry? They got something to scatterboo, bro.
Oh, absolutely. He's a football player. The problem is the Giants have talent. They don't have guys that can make plays when you need it the most, and that's the problem at the key position, especially quarterback right now. So
one thing you can't teach that
I disagree.
Even if you down, he still is. He playing his heart out. It don't matter what the score is.
I disagree. I think, and I'm actually surprised Barry wasn't more adamant about this. I actually think the Giants do have playmakers. I think, and I said this last week, but you look at Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, and then now you factor in the fact that Scatterboo is going to be the primary back, and he can catch out of the backfield. I actually think that their weapons are pretty good. I think the issue is you look at the sacks, and Barry, I know you could back me up on this. He takes 2 or 3 sacks a game, and probably at least 1 to 2 of those sacks are on him. Russ Wilson holds the ball too long. You can't go to Jameis Winston because you know what? The ceiling is higher. You're going to win games maybe you shouldn't, but he's also going to lose you games that you shouldn't. Yeah, because we all know he's going to throw 30 touchdowns, but he's going to throw 30 picks. I think people are underestimating Dart. Let me just say this, because this is one of those things that, like, we all remember, like, the Aaron Rodgers era where quarterbacks sat for a year. Remember, this kid played at USC and Ole Miss. He had 41 starts, right? 41 starts. He had over 30 starts in the SEC. He is very, very comfortable with seeing NFL talent on a day in and day out basis. Because let's keep it a buck. When you play against a Clemson, I just threw that in there because I thought you guys might laugh. But when you play a Georgia, when you play an LSU, an Alabama, you play those type of teams, you're playing NFL type caliber defenses, right? Like those guys are going to end up on an NFL roster soon. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch the preseason at all, Dart was the best QB that they had. He should have been QB1. I'm just going to keep it a buck for you. He was the best QB they had. I'm going to tell you right now, and it's going to be shocking because you guys know how I love to bag on Barry and make him feel bad about his team. I think the team's actually going to be better. They're going to be better because one of the elements that they now have is the ability to roll out, the ability to take off and run, which Dart will do. He's actually a pretty good decision maker. What you're going to lose a little bit is the long ball that Russ can throw. But the nice thing with Dart is he goes through the processes quicker. So Malik Neighbors doesn't need to be 45 yards down the field before he throws the ball, right? Like he's going to see him win 10 yards off the line and throw that ball and he'll catch it 35, 40 yards down the field. I think you're going to be surprised. Listen, I'm not saying he's the second coming of Tom Brady, but I think he's not going to just be serviceable. I think the Giants actually are a better team with him at quarterback, and I think they take themselves out of top pick type consideration. I think I would be willing to bet that over the course of the next 4 to 5 games, they're going to win 2 or 3 games.
Well, Barry, this is what I'm gonna say
I don't
too.
say it.
Does Dayball take over play calling now that Darts?
I would have fired Kafka. That's the first chess move I would have made. If I have to be honest, because I wanted to save it for the show, the first chess move I make after the Kansas City game is firing Kafka.
Because
I'd hold
thing,
Dart for a couple weeks and then I'd put him in. Because Kafka can't figure out a way to get these weapons that Breaking News is talking about, Neighbors and Wendell, open. Can't figure out. I know Neighbors was being triple covered, Larry. I could see it.
Yeah.
You figure out a way. Everybody else figures out a way to get their best player the ball.
In the Dallas game, he
what
was triple covered. The guy had his hand on his face mask, and he still caught the ball. Like sometimes you just got to give your playmakers a shot, right? Instead of throwing it into the goalpost.
With Russ Wilson, especially 2 out of these 3 games, he's throwing YOLO balls that aren't catchable.
Right,
uncatchable. Yeah, he threw into triple coverage to Wendell Robinson, but it was nowhere near a catchable ball. It wasn't a winnable ball.
He directly contributed to them losing 2 of the last 3 games, and there's just no way you can argue anything other than that. Look at if you want to say, listen, the Giants defense gave up 40.
But Brian,
hold on, I'm just real quickly.
But hang on, it's not the last 2 games. It's every game. We were in that Commanders game, 14-6 in the red zone, and how many leave on the table because Russ couldn't get it done in the red zone, Brian?
I understand.
All 3 games. I'm sorry, I just had to say
that. No. But you're completely fine. My thought process, like I said, what I'm getting at is even if you want to give him a pass for week 1, right? Like I'm just saying, if you're giving him a pass, he has directly contributed to your team losing the last 2 games in a row. And it's like, if you're going to lose, if your quarterback that's supposedly a 10-year vet, a Super Bowl champ, an MVP is going to be making bonehead decisions, dude, you might as well see what you have in the youngster you invested a 1st-round pick in.
Yeah.
It can't, because even if the kid loses, right, 21-16, at least he's getting the experience. He's not going to get that on the bench watching Russ Wilson throw Hail Marys up.
Exactly. Larry, just like I do, you're getting the same result with a veteran quarterback. You might as well get that result with a rookie quarterback.
Right. That's the whole reason you put a veteran back there, is to get a better result.
Right. Well,
this is what I was going to say, Barry.
Good.
This is why I was wondering if Dart stars the Dayball take over the play calling.
Yeah.
Because the one of the most frustrating things watching that Giants game, because it was on primetime too, you watch way more than we do. You watch the game, and I get it. They were tripling Neighbors, because that's what Spags do. He plays like Belichick. He's gonna try to take your best weapon.
Spags
right?
is the best defensive
Right.
coordinator, one of the best defensive coordinators in the history.
Yeah.
of
One of the
football.
best. Thank
So
you.
that's when you kind of know going into that game they're gonna try to take away Neighbors. So you scheme up ways to get Wandale open. That wasn't happening. But the most egregious thing out of the whole thing watching the Giants is that Theo Johnson is so talented, and that dude literally gets 2 targets a game, if that. So if you're watching the game and it's like, okay, Neighbors isn't there, Wandale's not there. Why are you guys not scheming up a way to get Theo the ball more? Like, remember I texted you, Barry, and I said, Barry, I said, you go to your plan B. You use him as a decoy or something.
There was a play, Larry, and I don't know if you saw it, but that Neighbors was in the slot on the right side, ran a little stop route. You had the safety over the top, you had the linebacker on the inside, you had the corner on the outside. It was being tripled, right? I think
somebody's open.
I think Theo was inside and was about to run an in route, was about to clear the linebacker and be wide open in the middle. Nobody was there. What's Russell doing? Looking for the back door, looking for holding the ball, looking around, like can't see over the line because he's short and couldn't see that Theo was wide open in the middle. That was when I had
Larry
enough.
was right.
I had enough.
Sirius kept making all these excuses for rest. Larry was right.
Hey, I didn't watch every play of that game too, but just looking at the stats, and Barry, maybe you can explain this to me. Just looking at the yards per clip that they were running the ball at, I don't understand why the Giants didn't run the ball more. Why didn't they run the ball?
They did because Spags was playing two safeties high, 7 in the box, and dared them to run the ball, and that's what they were doing.
But if that's the case, if that's the case, then how did Scatterbo only end up with 11 carries?
They used Singletary a little bit. Tracy before he got hurt with a separated shoulder.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the stats. Singletary had 1 carry. Tracy had 5. My point is, you should have 15 to 20 carries per half.
Here's the stat that you missed: 1 to 10. Well, you know what 1 to 10 is?
What's that?
Conversions on third down.
Okay, fair enough.
1 of 4. You know what that stat was? Fourth down. So maybe they couldn't sustain. They were running the ball well. They couldn't convert on third down and get off the field. Like they couldn't stay on the field, Brian.
Maybe get into 3rd and 2 and 3, and then you can run the ball with Scatterbo, so you don't have to put the ball in Russ's hand. But I actually hope Dayball does take over the play calling, because people forget. But if you look at the offense that he ran for Josh when he was in Buffalo,
isn't here, bro. Josh isn't here. We can't keep using that. We can't keep using that excuse for him.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. If you look at the style of offense that he ran, it's very similar to what Lane Kiffin runs in Ole Miss. That's what I was getting at. I'm not giving an excuse. My point is, I think that Dart would do really, really well in Dayball's offense, right? Like, I think they need to run the ball. think they need to utilize play action. And I think that they need to lean a little bit on the defense, because the defense gets pressure, but you can't give up 35 points. Listen. Go ahead.
No, what I'm saying, the issue with running the ball and play action is, and again, Villain can allude to this, that offensive line is about as bad as ours.
I don't know about that.
That offensive line just got a big boost. And as he likes to allude to, one of the top 5 offensive tackles in the game, and Thomas coming back.
And he looked damn good against Chris Jones.
He did look damn good. But the point being is what they really needed to trim out is the negative plays, the turnovers, the sacks, the penalties, Like,
the penalties are on defense too, but
no,
I don't want to talk
saying.
about the Giants anymore.
I'm saying that's what they need to trim out. Listen, we know this is a younger team, but all I wanted to get at is they have talent. Like, we can't use the talent excuse no more. This is a very talented team. They just need to get their stuff together and all be heading in the same direction. I mean, I don't even think Larry would disagree with me. When you look at them and you look at like my Niners are the Walking Dead. We got people that are starting at wide receiver that probably wouldn't be a number 4 on the Giants.
Practice squad, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'm
hey,
just
you know
saying,
what?
like you play to win the game, as they say. Like,
Hey,
you know what I
Breaking,
mean?
Breaking. You
Well, I
know
mean,
what?
can we talk about like something else?
No,
Can we
no.
talk about the
Yeah, we're
Cowboys
gonna
or
move on.
somebody?
We're gonna move on, but I'm gonna say this, right? Breaking news. You may not have caught me say this before. I know
Yeah, yeah.
Barry and everybody else heard me say this before. OCs matter. DCs
Oh, yeah.
matter. Coordinators matter, bro. Like real talk. You see what's going on with the Giants. You see what's going on with the Texans. You see what's going on with the Jaguars. It's like these teams have all this talent, can't move the ball. Can't move the ball.
But look at what's happening in Detroit. They lost both of their coordinators, their OC and their DC, and that's a program that Dan Campbell's got. Next man
But they
up.
also, but they were also internal hires, so you
No, they
don't
were
have
groomed.
like a complete right.
Brian,
That matters
that's
too.
what I mean. That's what I
Yeah.
mean, Brian. They were groomed in the program, and now you got these guys that had some responsibility in play calling or had some responsibility
Yeah.
in the locker room that just step right in, and it's like, yeah, the first game they lost, all right, but they really haven't missed a beat. The Lions have scored what 90 points in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
something like that.
Like
OCs and DCs
Hey,
matter, dude.
by
Like,
the way,
thank
dude,
you.
by the
people
way,
are.
we're
I don't
only
know if
3 weeks
D'Amico's
into the
gonna
season.
survive. If
We're only
D'Amico
3 weeks.
doesn't get an OC, he's not gonna survive in Houston.
And
Like people
that'll
are
be a big
literally
mistake. That'll be a
ready
big
Yeah,
to
be
mistake.
run him
a
out.
huge mistake. I just wanted to say, man, we're 3 weeks into the season, and there's only 6 undefeated teams. You want to talk about parity? Like, like everybody's facing adversity. Everybody has injuries 3 weeks into the season. Everybody has controversy. Yeah, we're talking about,
Nah, what
we're
y'all
talking about
going
the
through is
Giants.
unprecedented, man.
No, 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 no,
Yes,
no. But what I'm saying
bro.
is, can you imagine? Can you imagine being a Bengals fan? They start awful every year. The one year they finally start good, and Burrows is out for the season.
Yeah,
Like,
and
and then you
they
just
need
get
to call the
ran,
Giants.
and then they just got ran
Yeah.
out the building. Got ran out the building in a track meet by Minnesota and their backup quarterback. I'm just saying, it's like the way the teams are constructed, and as Larry said, OCs and DCs definitely matter. And you know what? I'd be the first one to say that because I'm telling you all right now, I've watched every second, every snap of all the Niner games. The Niners don't win the last 3 games if the OC and the DC are not in sync, and the defense has absolutely just been stifling. Just been stifling. And I want to give a big shout out, Barry. I know you're gonna hate this, but I just gotta say this, man. Danny Dimes, dude. Holy cow, dude. What how incredible listen, how incredible has that dude been? Indy has punted the ball 1 time in 3 weeks. Let that sink in.
Who they play? Who they play?
Hey, you know what? It's hard to win in the NFL, man. That's why there's only 6 undefeated
Oh,
teams. They're
now it's
all
hard to win in the
professionals.
NFL. Get lost.
It is.
Get
It
lost.
is. Hey,
But
you
you
know
know
what?
what?
Ask Green Bay if it's hard to win. I heard a lot of people
The
touting about, oh,
Dolphins
you're
and
only
the
playing
Titans are
the
probably two
Browns.
of the.
Don't worry about it.
They're competing with the Giants for the worst teams in the league, the Dolphins and the Titans. And we're gonna listen.
Hey, Bear,
No,
y'all not that bad.
I don't
Y'all
want
not
to.
that
I don't
bad,
want
man.
to.
Yeah, the
I don't
Giants
wanna
ain't that bad.
No, I know.
They're not Tennessee bad,
But listen,
man.
I don't want to take a dump on Indiana Jones is playing good football. Indiana Jones is on a better football team.
You
than
don't get a
he's been on.
nickname unless you're playing pretty good.
We're going to
But
learn a
he's
lot
been-
about him this week when they play the Rams.
Exactly. They're going to play the
damn right.
Rams, and they're going to lose their first game of the year. And I think, but like, listen, Jones is on the best team that he's been on in his career. Okay,
Agreed.
this is the best team he's been on, right? I always say it helps having Jonathan Taylor back there that can do pretty much anything on the football field.
Saquon.
Listen,
you know what I mean.
You take
but
a slightly
serious.
above
But hold
average
on, breaking news.
quarterback and give him an O line and a running back, and look, all of a sudden, they make magic happen.
Nelson's one of the best guards I've seen in my lifetime.
I think he's the best guard, actually.
In my lifetime, I've seen, right? You can go back to the old Raiders lines in the 70s, right? But what I'm saying is, like, Daniel Jones had Saquon Barkley and went to the playoffs. Daniel Jones now has Jonathan Taylor and probably would win that division. So, yeah, you could say Barkley, yeah, but, he was a Giant. You let him go. But he had a running back that he could rely on in Saquon Barkley. That's when he had his best season in his career and cashed in for 4 years, $160 million. Right? He's got a running back just as good now in Jonathan Taylor, and he's going to cash in again. So. And Anthony Richardson, nobody's talking about Anthony Richardson. I don't know where he goes, but
dude. So this was my thing about it, right? And y'all gonna think I'm lying when I say it again, bro. OCs and DCs matter. You know who Daniel Jones looks like right now? Remember Jalen Hurts? You know who Jalen Hurts OC was? Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
And when I watch those Colts game, dude, he's doing to Daniel Jones what he did for Jalen Hurts at first. Mm-hmm. He simplified the playbook. If you watch those games, Daniel Jones is making the throws, but he only has like 1 or 2 reads, and they are actually running the ball a lot. It's one or two reads.
That's all he can do. 1 or 2. He can only do 2 reads at a time. That's it. He can't read anything else.
Anything other than that, you throw the ball away, or you run, you take off running, and he simplified it, and that's why Daniel Jones has been looking good. But like I say, OCs matter.
But I mean, like you're talking about a 6-7 year vet that can't do more than 1 or 2 reads. I mean, I as an OC, I'd be kind of pissed off. Like, dude,
at some point he's gonna revert back to himself.
Yeah,
he's going to. He's going to. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just literally waiting for it. But I'm not saying that as a hater. I'm saying like I've seen this happen. I've seen this movie before. I've seen it happen.
We waiting on part 3 of the Daniel Jones show and the Carson Wentz show. Carson Wentz got all that talent, and he's gonna revert back to.
You might be waiting a little while.
We'll see.
Well, not this week. Once I get my picks in, we'll see about that. Yeah.
Well,
hey, look, I can't even talk breaking because we.
But seriously, real quick before we go to our picks, serious. Can we just lament? I joke about it, but like the Cowboys are trash. Their defense is trash. It's bad. And we talked about it in the chat. My brother was screaming about it. Shout out to my big bro. He does his music thing and everything. Like he is as tired of watching Pickens as you have been tired of watching Pickens for the last 3-4 seasons. Like that guy is a lazy piece of and I won't repeat the language that my brother used, but like let's just say he was not manure. Okay, if he knows he's not getting the ball or not in the play, the laziness, it's out of this world. But he had a perfect opportunity to be a number 2 receiver behind CeeDee Lamb and cash in and get a contract, and he's playing himself out of the league with his antics. And that Cowboys secondary, that defense is atrocious. You got Caleb Williams, who was almost getting run out of this league in his second year, looking like the second coming of Jay Cutler with 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like it was ridiculous. Bad football all around.
Yeah. Before we make these picks, man, we had a couple injuries that went down. Nick Bosa's gone for the year. James Conner's gone for the year. Najee Harrison's gone for the year. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys is gone for a significant period of time. Mike Evans is going to miss some time with a hamstring, his annual hamstring injury. It's been a bad year for injuries. Some big names has gone down. So definitely make yourself available. For all of us here play fantasy football. But shout out to those guys. Hopefully they make a speedy recovery. Terry McLaurin's now listed as day-to-day with a hammy. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, for fantasy football purposes, if you're in a league, because I'm showing he's available in 68% of Yahoo leagues, Quinshawn Judkins, the Cleveland running back, almost everybody needs a running back, man. You need to go pick that dude up. That guy's a beast.
Blake Corum is a guy that I think.
Blake Corum's another one who's putting on better. Huh?
He might be available for trades.
Listen to this guy.
Barry say, man, I'm ready to go pick somebody up.
I know. I'm everybody I pick up for our league. This goes to the way. I lost by 0.4 points last week.
Yo, how did you do that?
Dude, in the best league that we're in this in the what is it,
Yeah.
the sleeper league,
Yeah.
0.4
Who'd
points.
you play last week?
Oh my
I
god.
I don't know who it was. Well, this past week it was you, but the week
No, you
before,
played me this week.
yeah, the week before, I don't remember who. I don't know who it was, but it was by 0.4 point. It was bad. I got 222.9, and they oh no, they had 222.9. I had 222.5. That's how I lost. I showed it to my son. And he laughed. Like, how
That
is that
correction.
possible, Dad?
That's
You better open that
crazy.
correction. Hey, you
My
know what?
my son is in his first fantasy league, and he's 3-0.
Oh
Go
wow.
ahead, X.
Hey, I
Go
will
ahead,
say this
Hank.
though. You know what? Me and Breaking News, we Niners fans. Hey, look, man, having Salah back is making a big difference. Dude, I thought we were gonna probably lose that game because we went down by 2, and you know what they did?
That was rough.
2-3 and outs. 2-3 and outs. And people are making a big deal of all of these first round draft picks. Mikael Williams is looking like a steal, bro. Like I think he's gonna probably emerge in Bosa's absence. But yeah, that Niners defense is looking really, really good, and that's the only reason why they 3-0.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because Mac Jones. I think you had said it. Like,
yeah.
it
Who
only
Mac
takes
Jones?
one game, and then the next game is like when you'll find out, right?
So and like I said, that's gonna be my slogan for the day. OCs matter. Kyle at the nuts and bolts of Kyle Shanahan, he's an OC. He still calls his plays and all this other stuff. He can make a quarterback serviceable.
I think he's actually doing a better job this year. I think I think what Robert Saleh does is it basically allows Kyle to just coach offense and he doesn't have to worry about the defense. And when you can put Kyle in that position, because think about this, not only do we have Robert Saleh, right? But we also have Dan Quinn. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, they've got a ton of defensive knowledge on that side of the ball. He doesn't even have to worry about that side of the ball. Like, and then you look at when you look at the D line uh coach, and I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but he's literally considered one of the best in the league. So Corsic or something like that.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, long story short, like the Niners defensive coaches are really good, but I mean we're getting at a point where it's almost easier to tell you who's still on the team than who's out injured.
Yeah.
True statement. True statement. With that being
Hopefully
said,
helps on the way. Hopefully helps on the way.
with that being said, going over how the picks shook out last week, I had a horrible week. I went 1-4. Villain, you went 3-2. Coach went 3-2. Breaking news, you went 3-2, and Larry, you went 2-3. So
Broke the 3-2 straight.
you broke the
That's
3-2
right. That's
streak.
right.
Broke the 3-2 straight.
So with that being said, breaking news, talk to me, man. Well, I'll let you go
All
first
right.
here.
Listen, you know what? I've put a little bit of time and effort into this, and I'm feeling pretty good about these picks. So I'm gonna start right off. Divisional game, primetime game, Thursday night. Seattle Seahawks at Arizona. Um, or excuse me, Seattle's laying a point and a half. I actually like the road team. I think Seattle on the road. Remember, they just lost James Conner, who's really their battering ram. That run game, I mean, and Larry could tell you, it did not. It did not look good. They couldn't. They had one big run that they popped with Benson. Outside of that, they could not convert first downs because they rely heavily on Connor, and I just think Seattle's going to win that one. So I like Seattle -1.5 on the road.
Short man
Sunday,
is that. Hey, look, he like what's called it. He getting like Russ. He can't see over the line.
Seattle. I like them. So going to Sunday, and I'm gonna actually get in a little bit on this international game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I bet against them last week and I won, and I think I'm gonna have to do it again. Sorry, serious, but Pittsburgh, although they won that game, they forced like 943 turnovers. I'm just gonna tell you, Drake May was a better quarterback on the field, and if they wouldn't have forced the 943 turnovers, uh, New England probably wins that game. So this is what I'm envisioning in my head. Short week because they're having to travel. Russell Wilson, or excuse me, Aaron Rodgers, a bit of a statue back there, and you're now going against Brian Flores' defense. I'm a little scared about the whole backup QB thing, but it looked pretty good in week one. I'm gonna go ahead and take Minnesota minus 2.5 because even though it's a home game for Pittsburgh, let's keep it a buck. It's really not a home game for either team at this point. So I'll take Minnesota's minus 2.5. Next game I'm gonna go with, and call this a desperation play, but I just cannot get behind all of a sudden the fact that Stroud is not a good quarterback. A little bit of a desperation play here, but Tennessee traveling to Houston minus 7.5. I'm taking Houston minus 7.5. I think this is the get right game. I think Cam is going to be confused by that defense. That defense is still pretty good. They can give you multiple looks and they can get after you. I like Houston to win that game. Uh, I'm gonna go with. I give you one, two, three. Okay, sorry, I'm going down my list here. Game number four. I know Carolina looked really good. I'm not buying it. I'm gonna go New England at home minus 5.5. I liked what I saw in May. Carolina having travel on the road. You know what? Uh, Young is a little too Jekyll and Hyde for me. I think New England, what they're building there, I really like it. And like I said, you look at that running back quartet they have there. They're really starting to find their rhythm. So I'm going to take New England minus 5.5. And you know what? There's a bunch of games here I'd like to potentially look at, but I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to take the New York Giants plus 6.5 at home versus the Chargers. I think they might lose this game, but I think they keep it to a field goal. I think Dart's going to be better than people think.
All right, so we got Seattle at minus 1.5, Vikings at minus 2.5, Texans at minus 7.5, Patriots at minus 5.5, and the G-Man at plus 6.5. Sounds good to me, sir. Villain, talk to me, big guy.
Yeah, so I'll make it quick. I give 5-point play. Give me Packers minus 6.5 against the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys can keep it close. Number 4 pick. Give me the Rams minus 3.5 against the Colts. I think this is where the Colts get their first loss of the season. Number 3, give me the Seahawks minus 1.5 against the Cards. I agree with Breaking Hughes. I think the Seahawks have one of the better defenses in the league, and I don't think the Cards will have enough offense to really hang with them right now. Number 2, give me the Ravens minus 2.5 against the Chiefs. Even though the Chiefs won that game against the Giants, I wasn't impressed what I saw. I think the Ravens will even it up. I think the Chiefs go to 1-3. So give me the Ravens minus 2.5. And then I'm gonna not go out on a limb, but I'm gonna go against the grain. My 1 pick, give me the Saints plus 16.5. I hate big lines like that in the NFL. Even though the Bills are at home, I think the Saints will score late and get it within 17 points. So give me the Saints plus 16.5 against the Bills.
Damn, that's plus. That's the NFL line at 16.5. Good God.
That's a college line, really, right? At
Yeah,
this point, right?
Jeez, Larry, you need some milk? Need a minute? Are you good?
Nah, man, I'm good, man. Look, I'm choosing violence this week. I'm choosing violence. Like,
that's pretty
real
good for
talk.
you.
Hey, look, y'all heard my rant in the group chat. So with my number 5 pick, I'm expecting the Bills to blow the hell out of the Saints. I think it's going to be real ugly. And that last second touchdown is probably going to be the one that cuts it to 28 points and they still going to cover the spread. Like, look, hey, I'm choosing violence, bro. I want them to run that score up so bad that the Saints fire coaches that just unpacked their U-Haul. That's how they coaching staff ain't been there that long, but I want to see that score so bad. They playing in Buffalo too. Like, have y'all Barry? Remember I said the Giants bad. They ain't Saints bad. They ain't Dolphins bad. Hey, look, pump the brakes a little bit. Your team could not be doing that well, but there's a thing called worse. Or like Jamie Foxx say, worser. There's a thing called worser. Look, so I'm gonna take the Bills with my 5 point. I'm still choosing violence. I'm taking the Packers. That Cowboys team is looking like the Cowboys team of January, and it's too early. It's that defense. it's funny. Like I said, we sit back and we talk on the show and we joke about the Cowboys. Jerry Jones is like, oh, I think trading Michael made us a better team. And we're gonna be able to stop the run. You're not really stopping the run, but you know what's happening to your pass defense? Burnt like toast. Burnt like toast. I think I don't know about you guys, but did he overpay Diggs?
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
He overpaid Diggs.
Well, Diggs is like still trying to work himself back into game shape, but like, yeah, I don't think he overpaid him. I think he's a good corner, but I think he was a product of Micah Parsons' pass rush.
Yeah,
he was really good.
I mean, that whole defense was, to be honest with you.
Listen, you can't have that kind of pass rush. You have an opportunistic corner that we already know bites on double moves, and all of a sudden now your team can't actually apply a pass rush. He's going to look like burnt toast each and every week.
Man, what Luther Burton did to him, it was like Martin said, eat my dust. He said, eat my dust. That was so bad what he did to Diggs. Yeah, so I'm taking the Packers, and I'm taking the Packers 6.5. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm still choosing violence this week. I'm taking the Bears over the Raiders. That Raiders team, yeah, they may be playing a little bit harder, but they ain't got no talent. And Scatterboo's looking way better than Genty. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but Genty's looking bust.
I sat there and saw
that offensive line is horrendous, serious.
The line is horrendous, but this is the thing that people didn't realize. Genty was running for what, 250, 300 at Boise State, but it was on like 38 carries.
Yep.
Yeah. For me, I get it. The line is bad, but Genty, I'm not seeing elusiveness. He'll run you over, but how far is that going to get you? These NFL linebackers hit hard. And, like I said, he's looking like a bust. And Geno is looking like he back on the Jets. Geno.
bro.
Yeah, Geno looking like he still owe people money in the locker room. I'm just putting it out there. But I'm taking that. I'm gonna say this is the get right game for the Jets. I think they get their first win.
What was the
I don't
line
think the
there?
Dolphins are that good. On the Bears game?
Yeah.
Bears is 1.5, so that's easy money.
Yeah.
Money.
Plus 1.5.
That's easy money right there. Yeah, I think the Bears are actually more than
Bears minus 1.5 on the road.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I think the Bears, like I said, I think the Bears are better than 1.5, beat the Raiders. Like I said, I'm taking the Jets. The Jets, their line is a 2.5 against.
Yeah, I was thinking about that one. I
think they both 0-3, but I think the Jets are a better team. I think
it's 2.5. You said?
Yeah, 2.5.
Plus 2.5 Jets.
2.5. I think
who's the start quarterback there?
I think it's gonna be Tyrod. I think Tyrod is still, look, at this point in the game, I'll take Tyrod over Tua. Like,
yeah,
I'm just saying. Whatever happened to taking for Tua?
That's a hot mic right there,
dude.
Okay.
Dude, think about it, dude. They were literally talking about tanking for Tua, right? Who looks better right now, Tua or Herbert?
Herbert looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, man.
Who looks better, Tua or Mac Jones?
Mac Jones. Mac Jones.
Look, Mac Jones. Leads comebacks.
You know what? In all seriousness, y'all know I like to joke, but like, I think I hit Aaron. And I told Aaron, dude, Tua, like, I think he's taking too many concussions. His processing,
it's slow. You're right, man. Like he's not the same. He almost has like the Derek Carr syndrome at this point. Like he used to process so fast. He'd be throwing the out route like before the guy was even broke. He's like back there. He's back there like that penguin from Happy Feet. He back there like he looked like he's on roller skates.
And this is why I think that it's the concussions, because he's been in this offense 3 years now. Mm-hmm. You know this offense. You shouldn't be thinking about this. You should know this offense back and forth. And he's not looking like efficient quarterback. So I would take Tyrod at this stage of the game. And then like I said, this is my choosing violence weekend, man. With my number one pick, I'm taking the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings plus 2.5. I mean minus 2.5. I'm taking the Vikings, dude. Because you know what? We talked about it last week, and I told y'all, I say, man, Brian Flores needs to be a head coach. That Brian Flores defense, I was on the show and I
he's taking it personal, Larry. He's taking it personal.
Dude, yeah, I'm taking it personal because remember I said
Brian Flores is taking it personal.
Oh yeah, hey, look, your quarterback, anybody quarterback is gonna take his wrath because he's taking it out. Like, dude, we were like, okay, who you trust, Carson Wentz or Browning? And what I said, bro, I trust Brian Flores' defense.
You said it.
They literally destroyed them.
That was bad. I felt bad for them.
That defense, literally, Carson Wentz could have threw 3 interceptions and 2 fumbles, and they still would have won by a touchdown. Dude,
and you know what? To be completely honest with you, man, it don't get any easier for Browning this week. You got to go to Mile High and play Denver's defense this week, who's also probably a top 5 type defense with 2 lockdown type points. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
But I've seen some chinks in Denver's defense. That Vikings defense is humming.
They're just fast, and he blitzes pretty much every play. You just don't know where they're coming from. That's a fast defense.
And their packages, like when you're a quarterback, like we just talked about, Tua processing, having a process against a Brian Flores defense, it's like you playing chess and he's playing checkers. You're trying to figure out what the hell is the dude doing.
Yeah. If you the key to beating a Brian Flores defense, you have to run the ball. You have to run the ball.
You have to run it directly at them.
No, you have. I'm telling you, go back and go back and watch Atlanta week 2. Watch the highlights. How did they beat them? Literally, Bijan beat them right up the middle.
Right up the middle.
You have to run the ball, and you have to run between the tackles because he likes to blitz off the
Atlanta
edge.
Atlanta got a pretty good offensive line too. Yeah, but
No. I understand that, but I'm just telling you, if you think your quarterback's going to drop back 35 times, I'm with you, Larry. You think your quarterback going to drop back 35 times, he going to get sacked 5 or 6. Like, you just can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, Aaron, I feel bad for your Steelers this week, so I'm taking.
Hey, you know what? We had a bye week coming out of it, so whether we're 2-2 or 3-1, I'm chilling. I'm good.
What you got, Sirius?
All right, let me get out of here and make this quick and easy for you guys. For my 5-point play,
going to the head. He going to the
head. I know, right? You know what?
Go ahead and steal it on, man. Come on.
I'm not gonna do it to him. Give me Detroit minus 8.5. Versus the Browns.
Whoa! You want to do that? Yep. That defense?
Yep. I do.
Did you not see the Browns defense the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I do. They haven't played a prolific offense like that.
They played the Ravens.
I said what I said.
Derrick Henry had 11 yards.
I said what I said.
Derrick Henry had 11 yards.
I said what I said.
They played the Packers.
I said what I said.
There's 2 prolific offenses, bro.
I said what I said. I said what I said. My 4-point play, call it an upset. I'm going with the Jaguars over the 49ers. Jags over 49ers at minus 2.
Violence, bro. Violence.
Yeah. Minus 2.5. I said what I said.
You must not have watched a lot of Jags 49er games in the last couple of years.
I said what I said. I said what I said. Call me Petty LaBelle is what they call me.
Hey, that's gonna be the one game you don't cover the spread on.
Probably not, man. Jags beat them by 1 million. Let's see. That's plus 2.5. Let me get it right. Not minus, plus 2.5.
Trevor Lawrence throws NFL record 7 interceptions.
And Matt Jones hobbles himself to the stop it.
And Matt might not even be starting.
He literally is. Why you playing?
He probably is. I ain't gonna hold you.
Dude, Mac Jones literally put on the brace. He had a safety because he couldn't even run.
It was insane watching that game. You know what? I think Cincinnati covers, but I think Denver wins. That line is 7.5. I just don't feel. You know what? Let me stop lying to myself. Give me Denver minus 7.5 on
I was just about to say something.
Hey, serious, why we playing around, man? What's his name for Denver? He looking like he in a second year slump over here.
Yeah, Bo Nix is struggling.
Oh, Nix
Bo Nix
is
struggling. Yeah. I want to get a piece of this action, man. I don't see Baltimore going to 1-3 as much as I want to. Kansas City has not looked good. This game is in Arrowhead. I think Kansas City actually wins it outright. My thing is this, man. I respect the hell out of the Ravens. But one thing I know is that Baltimore will find a way to lose big games versus big time opponents. We've seen them do it before. And so
we talk about how bad that Cowboys defense, that Ravens defense is looking atrocious.
Correct. So
it looked worse because they got run at. Like they couldn't stop the run. Like you know what I mean? Like if it's defensive breakdowns, like guys running free in the second, you can't correct getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, but how many weeks have that happened? And I'm gonna say Orr was already facing questions last year. I don't think Orr keeps his job.
I don't know.
So that's Chiefs at plus 2.5. And my 1 point play, you know what? I'll mess on with it. I got Atlanta plus 1.5 over Washington. Kind of a pick'em game, so give me the Falcons at a plus 1.5 over Washington. I'm not too sure. All things that I'm reading right now, Jaden Daniels is not going to play. This game's on the road. We have no idea if it's going to be Michael Penix or their old buddy and Kirk Cousins. And the Falcons got their tail kicked last week versus the Carolina Panthers. I do not foresee them having 2 duds like that in a row. It's 1.5. It's pretty much a pick 'em. So we'll see how this goes, man. Anything else NFL related before we roll, man? I had Lions at minus 8.5, Jags at plus 2.5, Denver at minus 7.5, Chiefs at plus 2.5, and the Falcons at plus 1.5, man. Anybody got anything else to run through before we get out of here?
Injuries.
Giants are going to lose, but I'm done. I'm good.
Say less, man. Breaking news, man. Thanks for coming by, kicking with us, man. Give us a plug in before we shut it down, big homie.
Not a problem, man. It's always a pleasure, man, hanging out with you boys. Make sure you guys catch Danny Dimes and the Rams. That's going to be a good game. Colts at the LA Rams. 105 kickoff here at the Pacific time, 405 your time. But really, I think the game of the week, and it's almost a travesty, it's at 10 a.m. Philadelphia Eagles at the Tampa Bay Bucks. 2 teams, 3-0. Bakers came back all 3 times this year, fourth quarter comebacks. That's going to be a must-watch game. All right, boys. See you later.
Yes, sir. That game's gonna be off the hook, man. I cannot wait to get out of church and sit down and watch that one. That's gonna be a good one. Larry, talk to me, man. Get us out of here, big dog.
Oh man, always a pleasure, y'all. We didn't even talk about it, but did you guys see that we getting robot umps?
Yeah, we are for the postseason. No, it's actually for next year.
For challenges.
Challenges, yeah.
Like, what is the world coming to? We getting robot umps. We got, no chain gang anymore. Like, yeah, this is gonna be real interesting around here. But yeah, I love what Steve closing it, but I don't try to repeat it. But yeah, like I say, these injuries are getting out of control. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. We getting into the good part, the sweet part of the year. We about to get some basketball.
Yeah, we is.
Hey, look, I didn't even want to touch on it. Look, Barry, I told you. I'm just saying injuries, man. I'm so sick of injuries, man.
I know we don't. It's all right. Don't go there. Look, don't do that.
I can't repeat it verbatim, but Jamie Foxx said they don't make them like they used to no more.
They don't.
Like, whatever happened to taking 4 or 5 bullets and keep it moving? Like, we
got shot, still rapping.
Yeah, dude. Like, we all grew up in the age, dude. Guys didn't miss games. I mean, yeah, you would see some freak injuries here and there, but like, dude, we grew up in an age where you would see, Emmett 16 games, Barry 16 games, Sirius was seeing Bayer Foster 16 games, Big Ben 16 games. We saw, Giants teams having, they players all these games. And it's like, dude, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, it's just like injuries. And it's like, I get so tired of guys come to bat and be like, oh, well, these guys, they're this and they're bigger and they're faster and they're this and this and this. But that's fine and dandy when they're sitting on the sideline. The injuries. But always a pleasure, y'all. I'm gonna get y'all boys out of here. It's very sleepy time.
You already know. I big dog. Appreciate you, Villa. You know what to do, man. Get us out of here, big homie.
Nah, shout out to the crew. Steve couldn't make it. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to Unc. Hope everything's going good with him. Gotta catch up with him. Shout out to Brian for getting on the show. We're back at it tomorrow night doing the WWE show. Lots to talk about. WrestlePalooza. Maybe I'll have a guest spot in there. Got a lot of big things planned, but hold your head. It'll get better.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, big dog, man. It's your boy Serious repping that 412 and the 703, man. Such a privilege and absolute pleasure doing this show with these gentlemen. Shout out to those that couldn't make it on tonight, man. Coach handling some business. Shout out to the homie CK, man. Looking forward to chopping up with this man here in the next couple of days or so, man. As my man Villain alluded to, tomorrow night, man, Wrestling Wednesday is what we're calling it, man. Backstage Business is doing wrestling every Wednesday here on the network, man. So definitely check that out. Stacy, AB, Corey, maybe Coach Villain on the ones and twos, man. We also may have a special guest come through, break down everything WrestlePalooza did like. Watching NXT, man, we had TNA and invade NXT, man. Matt Cardona and those guys over at TNA came through, did they thing fizzle, man. So it's going to be fun to see how this whole thing shakes up, man. I can't wait to break that down with the guys on the later date. I always say this, man. God is good, even though some people like, man, God bless. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.